Hello and welcome to the Event Tech Pull-Up. My name is Tess from iSocialX, and my partner in crime is
Keith Johnston with i3 Events.
Yes.
Hi, Tess.
Hi. How are you, Keith? Thanks for pulling on up with me with coffee, right?
I know, right?
I don't have coffee. I've got ginger ale, even though it looks like beer, but it is actually ginger ale.
And some people won't see this, but my coffee cup is even dirty because I'm on like my 50th cup of the day.
And what we are doing is trying to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to pull up with us on an ongoing basis. This is something we thought about and thought it was very important for us to talk about event technology in a very different way. Our last episode, we had an ability to be able to give you some news segments, right? And then just a little news, what's going on current for the day. So Keith, let's lead off with what's the news for the week.
So for the biggest news of the week this week, I'm thinking for 100% of the population is Zoom and Zoom security issues. And, so many people everywhere you're going now, people are like, I got to get off Zoom. In fact, I was actually in a virtual meeting. I was actually producing a virtual meeting yesterday, and half the comments in there were, why was this organization still using Zoom with all its security flaws and all this? And my thought on that is Zoom is a good company. They know that they have made some missteps, and they're actually trying very hard to fix them. Zoom got so popular so fast, that all of these things have come to light, where if you go jumping into the next virtual platform or, online meeting platform, who's to say that they don't have these issues as well? Now, I know you're dying to say something. What do you
You know it. I mean, so Keith and I are what we call early adapters. We get in early, we see it when it's released, we get in and break things and fix them. But, I know Keith is going to say this, and I hate to preempt him, but you really want Zoom to really truly go through what they're going through now. As he was alluding, other companies may go through that, but they might not have seen their holes until they grew this fast. And be able to react to it, right?
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, and the thing that I love and always say about technology is the things that we love the most are the technologies that are nimble and not so boxy and clunky. And you find a lot of clunkiness in some of those other products that are quote unquote more secure, that are out and have been out on the market for a long time. And that's why Zoom took off so well, because it was nimble. But now they're just trying to level the playing field with what they have to do.
Yeah, and actually, one of the blogs news sites that I read is Tidbits, and it's an Apple, and it's about Apple products. But Glenn Fleischman there yesterday, I'll actually even read you what he said. He said, "You may prefer to not use Zoom after reading this article. For my part, I will continue to rely on it, sometimes daily." So again, if experts are going to say, okay, we're going to continue with Zoom, I think it's a pretty safe bet. For most people, if you're broadcasting, if you're having a town hall or a session and it's going out to 1,000 people and you take Zoom security advice, you're fine. If you are Boeing or the NSA or, a local police department, Zoom's probably not the platform you want to be using. But again, for the average person, I think Zoom is fine.
Yes, and I think, what has happened with our thought processes on security is going to be different. So we have a special guest that's going to come up in one of our future episodes, and we're going to talk about cybersecurity as it relates to virtual events and what that means. And we're really looking forward to that. And our upcoming guest is on the horizon. But before that happens, Keith, did you want to give them another news tidbit, or you want to give it to them at the end?
Actually, I'll do it now because we got a couple minutes and we'll make it fast.
Okay.
For those that are worried about Zoom, Google, for all the people out there that use Google as the backbone for their association, for email and for documents and for other things, we all know Hangouts. We all knew Google Hangouts. Well, Google Hangouts is dead. Long live Google Hangouts. It is now called Meet. And with the COVID-19 prices. Google has done a pretty amazing things, and they are actually going to give the premium stuff to all of their G Suite users and education users as well, so that you can have meetings with up to 250 participants, and you can also live stream up to 100,000 participants.
That's amazing. It absolutely is amazing.
It is. And you know what, again, talking about security, I can't tell you the last time Google had any security issues.
Right, exactly. And actually, it's funny how Google's the one that came out in the news saying that they're not going to allow their employees to use Zoom. So those are interesting 2 points there. So
yeah, although I don't think they ever should have, because they have Hangouts or Meet or whatever.
Well, yeah, absolutely. It could be a spend too, so people don't look behind that.
That's like Facebook. That's like Facebook people using Twitter.
Yeah, it really is. It really, but most people don't think about it like that.
True.
So, can we bring our next guest up? I am so excited to have him. We're going to actually bring him into the room and then announce him. Let's see. So we have today Amani Roberts, and he is our special guest. Special, because he is a friend of mine. He's a DJ, so he knows music very well. And what we decided to do was have someone on who could talk about one of Keith's favorite subjects. And one of his favorite subjects is podcasts. But Amani's been doing it for years. He's a consummate professional. And we thought we would ask him some pertinent questions for the event prof to know about repurposing content and things of that nature. So welcome, Amani, to the show.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Oh, we are so happy to hear you. So tell us where you are coming in from and just a tidbit about yourself, and then I'll get into our 3 questions.
Awesome. So right now I'm coming to you from Los Angeles, California, right outside LA, Redondo Beach. I grew up in the Washington, D.C. area. Let me see, what about me? I used to work for Marriott for over 20 years. I decided to retire.
And what role? What on the sales side, on the work, what's that?
So I started as a bellman, worked my way up from a bellman to a general manager. Then I went into sales and marketing. I was director of marketing for 3 hotels, regional director of sales and marketing for that was the last job I had with Marriott. Worked in DC, Atlanta, Chicago, Dallas, Miami, Los Angeles. Did all of that. And then when I got out to LA, continued to work, but then I really started to pursue my goal of DJing that I had since I was probably 19, 20, 21 years old. And so I did DJing on the side and worked, and then eventually decided to quote unquote retire from Marriott and then pursue DJing full time, along with some other things to kind of keep me afloat. And so that kind of will take you to 2012, and I've been growing my business ever since. It's been a long haul, and here we are in 2020. And, I started 2 podcasts along the way. The first one I started in 2000 and, let me think here. I think it was 2008. So I did that for a long time, for like 3.5 years. Then I stopped, went to DJ school, and then started my current podcast in 2017. And we're up to about 138, 140 episodes.
So basically you're telling us that you're a slacker. I think everything I've ever done in my life just pales in comparison to that.
we can't compare. Hold on, put my headphones in. We can't compare, but yeah, that's my story.
Yeah, well, thank you, and we're so happy to have you. So I'm gonna dive right in to the nitty gritty here, and then just so for our listeners and our viewing audience to know, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. Keith is in Chicago, which is my hometown. I'm really a Chicago girl. I just happen to live here. And as you know, Amani's in California. So we're doing virtual very well as event profs.
Yes, we are.
So first up, Amani, can you tell me the value of how content can be repurposed and created via podcasting and its value virtually?
I think repurposing content through podcasting has great value. It will provide you with some evergreen content that can sit on your website and out in the kind of internet world forever. And I really think that as we move forward, it's kind of a missing opportunity that many event planners, professionals have maybe not considered, but will definitely start to consider now. I think as small as maybe an opening 10-minute session where you have someone come on and speak and kind of set it up, that's a podcast episode right there. You know, podcast episodes don't have to be 50, 60 minutes. They could be 5 minutes. And then you can take an opening keynote and divide it up into 3 different episodes. You have 3 weeks of content. And then once you get into events like breakout events and even Q&A sessions, that's so valuable because not only can you divide it up into podcast episodes, but you can use it for like teasers. You can use it if you have video, you can use the video and get things on YouTube. Even if you don't have video, you can create kind of video with pictures and audio in the background. So I really think that repurposing content as podcasts is kind of a hidden treasure, so to speak. People haven't really discovered it yet, but I have a feeling that it will become a little bit more mainstream now. I'm excited about it. I think that it's not as difficult as many people might feel it would be. The key is to make sure you get some really, really good audio. And if you can get some good quality audio and allow people like myself, podcast editors, to be able to edit it and cut it up and maybe give you a transcription of it, I think you'll see some great benefits both with content, in terms of evergreen content, SEO. Once you get the transcript up your website, people can find you. I just think it has so many uses that we might have slept on in the past, but now I think it's going to come to light.
Oh, well.
And I got to dive in on that one because that's actually, you know, you just put it in such a nice, clear way for everyone. And it's something that I've been trying to you know, educate our clients and then actually anyone who will listen, you know, for a long time that, you know, every conference or event are basically podcast episodes, right? In rooms all over a conference center, you have episodes going on, you know, and throughout the year, you know, you can be dripping those out, you know, week after week after week. And that just walks you right into the next conference or the next event. You know, you've got a year buildup that people are listening to this and it gets them excited for the next one so that, you know, you're not only educating people throughout the year, you're also building enthusiasm for the next one that's coming.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. And you're exposing people who might not know about your event or your organization, association, company to it. And you'll be surprised how people find you nowadays. It's crazy. You know, it's not just the traditional methods of you might, you know, use mail or put something up on social media. People are searching on podcasts. They get referrals from friends. They find different episodes. They listen to a 5-minute clip like, oh, I want to bookmark this for later. And then the train just keeps on running.
So Amani, I'm going to sway away and give you just a little bit follow-up to that. So we know overall, right? But now our world has shifted and changed, right? And people are really terrified and scared. So what is the process to push out podcasts to various platforms? And do you have a team or is it just you producing this? And then in it, talk about when we're talking about content in general, do you really mean like my old event that I had last year or earlier this year, I could go back and pull content forward for that and push? Or are you talking about all these new virtual events that are about to happen on top of my content?
Okay. Let me unpack that. So first of all, yes, I have a team. I have a group of editors that will help me edit. I have graphic designers. You'll notice when you look at my podcast, I have these cool cartoons that we use. We can create any graphics for you. We can edit it down. Okay, so that's the first thing. Second thing is that I want to say yes to all of the above. So first of all, if you had an event in 2018, 2019, 2020, and you still have audio of the video of the event, yes, you can turn that into podcast episodes. Yes. In terms of getting it out to all the platforms, you can go to sites. The main two sites are kind of Burberry or Libsyn, and they will help you upload one episode on the site, and then you can distribute it out to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, all the main platforms where people listen to their podcasts, YouTube as well. I do want to say you cannot discount YouTube, even if you don't have audio, because it's the second largest search engine in the world, and so you must have content there. And this one platform, Libsyn, Burberry, whatever you choose, Acast is another one that's up and coming, will allow you to share your podcast everywhere. So it's like the distribution hub. You put it there, you distribute it everywhere. Plus you get a download link. You can personalize everything and go from there. It can send to SoundCloud everywhere. So that's that question. It's not that difficult. Then the most challenging part, I would say, is just really signing up, making sure you have the proper email, the proper technical information, metadata within the podcast episode, and then you just put it on cruise control. The key is, for all the old episodes, is to just try to get the audio as best as you can, and then give it to someone like myself who can chop it up, send it to you. You can take an old episode, like an old breakout, maybe from 2018. You can do it before and after, and then you can go a step further, get it transcribed. There's services that we use that can transcribe the specific breakout that you might have had, and then put it up. Now, with where we're going into now with virtual events, I mean, it's almost even easier, because like you're recording this session right now, you're going to turn that into a podcast. People having Zoom meetings, whatever platform you use, you just hit the record button. Now Zoom will give you the video of the actual event. They'll give you the audio from each person that's actually talking. And that makes it easy for podcast editors like myself, who can put each person on different tracks. So the three of us here today, I can put Tess on one track, Keith on another track, me on the third track, because maybe I'm talking too soft, so we need to do some EQing. Maybe, Tess is talking too loud, so we have to do some EQing. And then and then you just kind of just roll the episode along. You cut it up, add music to the before, after. You have your great news segment that's going on, like news in the industry. You can add some music to that, all things. And we haven't even talked about sponsorship, which really kind of comes afterwards. But then, especially for organizations, maybe your membership numbers are going to dwindle because of what we're going through. But now that you've created this other marketing arm for your association, you can then add in sponsorships and things, because there'll just be some people out there that will want to spend to get in front of people. It could be new companies, it could be traditional companies. You add in the sponsorship piece, and then you go from there. So I think I answered all your questions right there, I believe. If not, let me know and I'll get back to it. But those are my thoughts.
Yeah, if you have something for? Yeah.
I want to add something on the sponsorship side, because you're absolutely right. And this is one of the things that a lot of organizations, fail to realize is, the traditional sponsorship model for conferences anyway, is changing. It used to be companies, associations use companies like ATMs. They would just send their money and, put a sign up. Well, sponsors, are expecting, new and imaginative ways to get to their target market. And I think these are great ways, especially now that everything is going virtual, that you can, pivot over to virtual from your existing conference, and the sponsors can still get, bang for their buck, if you will. You can put that, and again, to your point, if it's a big sponsor and they've already have existing advertisements, you can do pre-roll, you can do post-roll. During the episode, Tess, you could give a shout out to whoever it happens to be. Simple little things that you can do that, although, is the sponsor, they may not get 1 million clicks out of it or things like that, but it does give them the name recognition, and it does show them that you are at least trying.
And it also gives them a product.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think, you covered it all. A hidden bonus is that, most times once you put a sponsorship kind of in the episode, then it stays there. So someone could hear it a year later, year and a half later, and it's there. And that's really good as well. And you can kind of change it around. So there's many, many benefits as well. Many benefits.
Well, I know we still have a good bit of time left. So I want to ask you just this piece, kind of catch you off guard a little bit. Everyone is talking so much, like there's so much noise going on right now, right? Even though we're all at home, we get 1 million emails about turning your event into virtual. What does that mean? People are, like I said, terrified about taking these steps. And what is your thought process on pricing from a sponsorship standpoint? Like if I'm starting a podcast, is a company like yours able to help me with not just the editing piece of it, but to help me think about how I price the sponsorship package for that offering to potential sponsors? And then also, if I wanted to start a podcast as an organization or a company, would I come to you, kind of give me an idea of how does pricing work for that? You don't have to actually tell me pricing itself, but just tell me. And then I think this is also a key, because in this day and age, with everything different and there being so many things happening, transparency is going to be a little different now as we move forward than people hiding prices versus putting a price list on their website for various services. And Keith and I talked about that earlier this week. So
yeah.
I know it was two things, but
yeah. In terms of sponsorship, we will consult and help with kind of coming up with a strategy for sponsorship.
Okay.
And then we will work with some of our partners that are really skilled at finding sponsors that make the perfect match. And a lot of times it could be people who have already sponsored different things within your organization. You just reapproach them and kind of use the low-hanging fruit. And then we work with a team that'll help find new sponsors if they're a good fit. I'm of the belief that, you don't have to take every sponsor. Just make sure it kind of matches with your organization's mission. And so it makes sense. And then that's what we say. And then we kind of guide you to a team that'll help that. In terms of pricing, it really it can be a monthly retainer fee if you think you just want someone to hire someone to help you along the way, or we can do it per episode. What works best for you? We can do it in seasons as well. So say, for example, you want to have like a spring season and a fall season. Maybe you pay a certain amount for 2 or 3 months, take a break while your podcasts kind of are released, come back in the fall. We can do seasons, which is pretty popular for people who want to start. Or we can just do it, year round as well. So there's different ways we can set it up, depending on how much work you have, how long each episode is, how much hours it'll take us. So different ways. And we come up with unique packages for each of our clients. We try to work with you in terms of budget, but we do kind of, know our value as well. And that's really with regards to pricing, that's how it goes. And you'll see a wide variety of price ranges. You'll see people who could do it for very cheap and people who could do it for very expensive. As you both know, you get what you pay for. Mm-hmm. So definitely don't skip when it comes to that, because this is your name and it's going everywhere.
Yeah, and I think, I live by the old tech industry motto of, done is better than perfect. And I think that one thing a lot of organizations should consider is to get out of the gate, right? To get started, don't worry, just do it, right? I think, as long as the audio quality is good, people, and the content is good, people will listen. And I think that, the one thing I hate to see are organizations that become afraid, that they have to do all of these things all at once, where you don't need an intro to begin. You don't need, music and this and that. Just start. You will find that if it goes back to, if your content is good, you will gain listeners. As you gain listeners, then you can, go out and, bring in the, all those other things, and it can grow. I mean, go back on a lot of podcasts to their first episodes, 4 or 5 years ago, and they were crappy, right? Yeah. And now they're, they're huge, and the production value has gone way up, where you don't have to start perfect, and I would rather see someone start.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think done is better than perfect is a great motto. I would cringe if you go back and listen to my first podcast episode. I mean, it was okay. It wasn't that bad.
Keith did. So, by the way.
So I had my guest. My guest was calling me out in the middle of the podcast. But, that was one. Now I'm up to 138. Back then, I didn't even videotape them. Now I videoed them since like episode 90-something. So now I've added that. It took me a while to get the courage really to do it. Then once I did it, I was able to add it in and kind of keep pace. Music changes, interviewing, like I do an interview podcast, so my interviewing skills have grown tremendously from the first episode to now. Listening skills improve, so even small skills that'll benefit you personally grow over time. But right, you gotta get started. Just take the first step. Many people get stuck at the starting gate and never get out, and a year later, like, I should have started. And I'm like, I told you should have started now. I need to do this. I said, okay, you let me know. Another year goes by, and they missed entirely the opportunity. So just get off the starting gate and go.
And to that point, Tess, you and I started this one, we're just a few in here. How long have we been talking about it?
Oh, it seems like 20 years, a good 5. So I know solid we've been talking about it.
There wasn't even an internet when we started talking about this, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're happy to be able to do this and know that you can be a good resource to us. And I was so happy that you decided to come on and be with us, because I think it's quintessential for people to understand that they don't have to do a lot and they don't have to be fearful around this transition. Right. And that this will work in a hybrid situation, it'll work in a face-to-face situation, and of course a totally virtual situation. So anything else, Keith, you'd like him to share with us before I move to my last and final question for our guest today?
No, go. I think we're killing it in the time we have.
Agreed.
All right. So, Amani, dear Amani, I understand that I can call you author, right?
Yes.
And to your title, and then I also can call you Professor Roberts.
Yes,
right?
you can.
So tell me a little bit about that. Start with Professor first, and you can end with author.
Okay, so I am an adjunct professor at Cal State Fullerton. I teach in Mahalo School of Business and Economics. I am also there the co-director for our Center for Entertainment and Hospitality Management, EHM Center. I teach a class called Entertainment Money Management, where the students, we share and discuss how venues make money, like hotels, casinos, amusement parks. We get into the music industry, talk about how musicians earn money, how record labels earn money, films, streaming services. So we talk about all that. Also, part of our responsibility with Dr. Ellen Kim is that we bring guest speakers on campus and try to educate our students, our entertainment hospitality students, as much as possible about our industry, the meetings, events, entertainment, hospitality industry, and get them ready to work upon graduation. So that's why you can say a professor. Also, on Tuesday, April 14th, my first book comes out. It's called DJs Mean Business. It takes you through the time slots of a DJ set and relates it to growing a business. So a quick example is, say at 10 p.m., you're starting your first song on the DJ set. You're getting to know who's in the crowd, who's at the bar, you know, that in business. When you first start a business, you have to see who your potential clients are, get to know them. We roll on to 11 o'clock at night, troubleshooting. As a DJ, something always goes wrong in the booth, whether it's your computer, a speaker, something's wrong. How do you fix it, but the music can't stop? Same thing in business. Things are going on. Say, for example, what we're going through now. How do you pivot, but still not close your business? We get to prime time, which is midnight. Midnight in the club, you know, you got to keep the dance floor packed, hit after hit after hit. Same thing in business. If you're in prime time business, you want to keep that revenue coming in month after month after month. So those two relate. We get to later in the set. I'm like an old soul. I love to play slow jams as part of my DJ sets as it comes to a close. And how do businesses use nostalgia to bring back people into their business? Like Nintendo does a really good job with nostalgia. Adidas also does really well also. Then at 2 o'clock, the set is over. There's a chapter on self-care because in business and the DJ world, you got to take care of yourself now more than ever. And then that pretty much takes you to the end of the book. I've skipped a few chapters because I don't want to give it all away, but that's what it is. It comes out on Tuesday. It's available in all of the, anywhere you buy a book, it's available.
So tell us the title again. I'm sorry, I was going to have him tell us the title one more time again.
Okay, so the title is called DJs Mean Business. You can just look that up, you know, how one night behind the turntables can spin your company's success.
And I was going to say, I actually did go watch your unwrapping on Facebook.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Yeah, nice?
That was the first time I ever saw the cover. Like I've seen it on like the computer, but to see it in presence, so that was very interesting. That was cool. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Well, Amani, share with people how they can get in touch with you. If you can spell out your website and any other information for them. And yes.
So website is amaniexperience.com. My name is A as in Apple, M as in Mary, A as in Apple, N as in Nancy, I, the word experience, all one word.com. You can find me on all the socials at Amani Experience, on LinkedIn, at Amani Roberts. That's my first and last name. And I live mostly on like Instagram, LinkedIn. Those are the two places I spend most of my time. During our quarantine times on Wednesday nights, you'll see me streaming live. I do like a slow jam love song request set every Wednesday. On Thursday, the 16th, I have my virtual books launch, which you're all invited to. You go to my website, amaniexperience.com/book launch and find out all the information there. And if you have any questions, you know, about anything that I said, you can email me, amani@amaniexperience.com. I'm here as a resource. And if you need help or you are interested in maybe having me and my team work with you on turning your events into a podcast, we're here to help.
Well, good. Well, thank you so much, Amani. We're so happy that you joined us today, and you will be a good resource to our team too as well. Keith,
Awesome.
You have anything else for Amani before he goes?
No. It was absolutely fantastic, and I think everyone can learn a lot just from that short little segment.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much for having me, and look forward to working and staying in touch.
All right. Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So everyone else, we are back to our show. Again, this is Tess Vismail from the event Pull Up, and we have Keith Johnston from the event Pull Up. It's okay. It's okay. Let's check it back. Boom. So, welcome back, everyone. This is Tess Vismail from the event Pull Up, and my co-host,
Keith Johnston.
Yes, absolutely. Wasn't that great, Keith? I think, I always love to see and push people to their maximum and to see how he can grow and flourish with repurposing content for a podcast. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, and I think, he does it in such a clear and concise way. Just listening to him, it's not scary.
Yeah. And that's what we are always about. That's always our goal and focus, is to demystify the fear around tech all the time. And podcasting is a technology, by the way. I cannot sing. Amani would be like, yeah, I can't DJ that. Okay, Keith, as we wrap up our segment today, what would you like to tell our listeners as well as viewers?
Well, if it relates to podcasting, go back and look. You have things that you can repurpose now. You don't have to wait. You can get started. Just dive in. Episodes 1 through 10 are always going to suck. So you know what? Might as well get them out of the way so that you can get on to 11 and beyond.
Yep, definitely. And, look to some of your favorite podcasts as, inspiration, or just go on Amani's site and just listen and see how he's done what he's done, just to get pure inspiration about what's actually possible. I think associations need to be looking at this. I think at this point in time, event profs themselves need to be looking at this. We are event profs. We took a pivot. We finally did something that we thought thinking about for years doing, and we thought that this was a perfect time. So anybody can do it. It doesn't have to just be an organization. An individual can do it and give voice to some things that they're passionate about. So I thank you all today. Looking forward to our next episode. In our next episode, we again will have a consummate cybersecurity professional to come talk to us about some of the things that are happening. And we started off in the show talking about Zoom and the security things that have been going on in that world. But other people are dealing with it, and we want to bring someone on who is a hacker, a consummate hacker, to really talk about and throwing questions at him around what we can be thinking about as we're having to pick these technologies in this world. So Keith, anything else you'd like to close it out for us?
Nah, I think you did a great job.
All right. Well, thank you. You all have a great one. Bye.